Hello, my name's Kayla, this is Cinnamon the Score Bunny, and today we're going to be looking at the latest Pokemon Presents trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm going to be breaking down every single hidden detail that you might have missed in this trailer. Okay, starting from the beginning, it says trailer does not reflect actual gameplay experience. The on-screen text and voiceovers are not present in the game. This is specifically referring to the part with Clavel, where he goes through the treasure hunt and how that's going to work. There's a voiceover and there's some text on the screen that won't be in the actual game. This clip shows Arcanine and Growlithe as well as some tall grass. Potentially that could mean that there will still be random encounters in this game, maybe like the tall grass shakes and then you go find a random Pokemon. Here we see Sawsbuck and Deerling. What's interesting about these Pokemon is that they have different forms depending on the season. Here we're seeing the fall forms. I don't think that this means that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will have seasons though. I think that there's going to be different Deerling and Sawsbuck in different parts of the map based on the kind of season or temperature or climate of that area of the map. For example, the area that they're in looks very fall themed, so by the snow would probably be like the winter one and so on and so forth. We've got Houndour and Houndoom as well as some kind of tall grass, which again could potentially be used for random encounters. Here we see Paldean Wooper, which is my favorite new Pokemon revealed in this trailer. Again, we see a lot of tall grass hinting at potentially random encounters, and we also see this cool natural bridge in the background with water pouring underneath it. I can't wait to explore that area. It looks so interesting. Here we see Snorunt running toward the camera, which I'm very happy about because Snorunt is one of my friend's favorite Pokemon. Yay, Livy, Snorunt, woohoo! Then we get this beautiful shot of two Gyarados swimming in the water. I love the way the reflections work on this and how the water, you can kind of see through it a little bit. It looks so much better than other water in some previous Pokemon games. We've got Murkrow and Honchkrow, and what's really cool about this is that some of them are landing on the ground and some of them are flying around at different heights. So I'm super curious exactly what their mechanics will be in terms of catching that. Like if a Pokemon is flying, are we going to be able to whistle to call it down? Will some Pokemon scatter if we try to do that? Can we lure them with food so then we can catch them? Like, what are the mechanics for that going to be? The next shot shows us the main school, which we have seen in other trailers, but it's interesting that there's birds flying around behind it, making me wonder if we're going to be able to battle Pokemon in the air. It then zooms into the Pokeball structure at the top of the school, making me think that this Pokeball might be very important for the story. Based on my quantum time crystal theory, someone made up this other theory that that Pokeball might be a quantum time crystal and there might be something like almost frozen in time inside of it. So if that's the case, that would be really cool. In the background of this shot, we can see Clavel, who is the person who runs the school, as well as 4 other trainers, professors, Elite Four members probably, in the background. We also see a whole bunch of students, and I really like how they have unique designs and standing animations. I actually think it's likely that all of these students will have their own names and have different personalities, and we're going to have different quests for them, kind of like the people in the Hisui region all had different quests for us. I'm wondering if the exclamation point over the trainer's head is actually showing one of the possible reactions that characters can have, because we know from later on in the trailer that we're going to be able to do certain reactions with our trainers because we have like the photography thing and we're able to meet up with trainers in the wild, so we're gonna have some sort of like emoji type interactions. I wouldn't be surprised if this exclamation point is one of those. We get another shot of a bunch of trainers from the school, this time from the front, so we're able to see how all of them have unique designs. This further hints at them being unique characters, which is cool because one of the complaints about PLA was that there weren't a lot of villager designs, so here we're seeing like PLA almost to the next level with having a bunch of different characters. These shots show the player walking up to Koraidon and Miraidon on the beach. I'm wondering if that's where we meet them or if we meet them before this. We see here that Clavel has 6 Pokeballs, making me think that he might potentially be the champion of the region, in addition to the school's headmaster type of person. Also, is it just me or do Koraidon and Miraidon's animations make you think of cats? It's too cute! Clavel's cufflinks are these little bows, and I just think that's a really cool detail. We see here that just like when you throw out Pokemon from Pokeballs, when you use the ride forms of Koraidon and Miraidon, they start off very small and grow in size until they're regular size. This has always been a part of Pokemon lore, but it seems like they're going with that a lot more now, especially since they specifically referenced it in Pokemon Legends Arceus. To our surprise, Koraidon doesn't really use its wheels when it's in its ground travel form, which seems kind of strange, but I guess the wheels are more of flotation devices. Anyways, we also see Girafarig, and I really like the way that the face at the end of its tail is animated. Okay, I think they can also use the wheels in their ground travel form based on this shot, but that's kind of confusing because, like, why can they only use it sometimes but not others? Here we see Sawsbuck again, but this is the summer form, and to me this confirms that it's not going to be season based, it's going to be based just on the environment around it. This shot has Mareep, oh so cute, and if you look closely on the side here, Flaffy is sleeping near the bushes. We also see at the end of the shot that our ride Pokemon are going to be able to jump. I'm wondering exactly how that will be triggered, but I'm guessing it'll be similar to PLA. Our ride Pokemon can also climb really high, as was shown in this shot, and we can jump in the air and start flying with them. I correctly predicted that Koraidon's flying form would have feathers, and Miraidon's form would be more like a jet. Also, can't wait to use this shot in my map analysis, coming soon! Go-Goat confirmed! Dusty is going to be very happy. Also, I totally called Go-Goat being in these games, as well as a whole bunch of other Pokemon that have already been revealed, and some that haven't potentially that could still be in the game in this video, so make sure you check that out. Again, really cool landscape, and I love how the water is splashing around through Miraidon's wheels. Dreadnought confirmed, though, I mean, we all figured it would be because Chudo was already confirmed. This shot also confirms that there will be dynamic weather because there was a thunderstorm. Here we see Qfant, and at the top of the mountain, there's this weird icy structure. Not sure exactly what that is. Did they build a really weird giant snowman? On the billboard in this scene, we can see a trainer with a Pokeball. I'm wondering if this is somebody that we're going to be able to challenge, and I'm trying to figure out exactly who this silhouette could be. It feels kind of like Name That Pokemon, except instead it's Name That Trainer. There's also some sort of berry tea or coffee, as well as ice cube pops. Adorable. This city looks absolutely amazing, and I hope that we can actually explore it, unlike the main city in Galar. We also see a shooting star, which might hint toward Minior. Next, we see some shots of the school, including inside the library, where a couple of kids are standing on the left side, and there's also some people with some Starly up near the top. There's also a Psyduck at the desk. I really want to work on decoding all of the text that are in these shots because I feel like we're missing some information, and this could be very interesting. Also, there's a clock on the wall, which makes me wonder how time will work in these games. Not just time travel, like actual time passing. Like, is it going to work like Pokemon Legends Arceus, where like time actually did flow within the game, or is it going to be based on the real world clock? We see a Sunflora here, but it's difficult to tell if this is a statue or a real Sunflora. I'm leaning toward it being a statue though. The building on the left is most likely the bakery, whereas the building on the right looks like it has vending machines. I'm not really sure what this blue bird-like looking thing is over here, but it might be a new Pokemon. It kind of reminds me of a peacock. So yeah, this is another example of why I really want to decode the language, because I'm pretty sure this says something like the meow or the mow, or I don't know, especially with the picture of Meowth in the middle. That just seems very likely. We see a few different shops here. I'm hoping that all of the shops are accessible and will sell us things that are actually interesting and useful. Blue tends to be the color of candy, but it looks like it has an anchor on it. So maybe it's going to be a nautical themed candy shop. This little girl is playing with two Fletchling. We'll actually see her in a later clip, so keep her in mind. This is the new Pokemon Fido. It's at the bakery. I'm assuming that this is probably the bakery we saw earlier that had open access to the outside. What I like about this shot with Slacking and Vigoroth is that it seems like the Pokemon are interacting with each other when they're in the wild. Also, I love how creepy Cacturne's eyes get in this shot. We see that Donphan is actually going to have a rolling animation, and it's so cool! Not to mention this Dragonair animation, like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty! And look at the texture on Pineco. Do you see this? And it's hanging hanging in a tree, and Fletchling is able to just kind of go by it. And not only do we see one Pineco in a tree, we see 2 Pineco in the tree. So like if you hit this tree, would it initiate some sort of horde battle? We see Mischievous and Miss Magius. I love the way Miss Magius's eyes glow. We see Cupchew and Beartick, and then a whole bunch of Pikachu. The Pikachu one makes me think that there might be horde battles similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, where a whole bunch of Pokemon would spawn in one location. Pikachu in most games tends to be a rare spawn, so it seems kind of weird that we'd have so many all out at once. This shot shows us Pachirisu and Swablu, as well as what I think is probably the candy store. I like how there's a guy playing guitar as well, and another one eating a sandwich. There's people dancing. It really feels like this region is alive. Before you start hating on my blue equals candy theory, this is most likely a different shop because it does not have the blue overhang that the other shop has, and instead shows that this is a place to buy hats. We see Pachirisu here again, and we also see Drifloon, as well as a whole bunch of balloons. I wonder if those balloons can actually be used for something. There's a sandwich shop, and we see the player actually go up to buy a sandwich. I wonder what these sandwiches will be used for. Oh, and there's a Pincurchin. This person is probably one of the professors at the school, as well as potentially the fighting type Elite Four member. She also has a scar above her eye, and is seen in another spot with a Hariyama. Another character that's most likely a professor, I'm thinking this might be a dragon type trainer, although it would be really cool if he had the fairy type. My guess is that he looks tough, but he's actually a big softie because he's wearing that name badge that makes me think that he probably teaches younger children who might not be as good at remembering names. I absolutely love this trainer class design. At first I thought this was a unique character, but no, this is just a type of trainer. Like, so good. Another trainer class that looks like some sort of fighting trainer. He's a black belt and he has a red and black Pokeball symbol on his robe. I can't tell if this trainer is meant to be a man or a woman, but I kind of like that they're doing that more in Pokemon games, so I'm just gonna refer to them as they. They look like they're into spray painting and even have a little bit of spray paint on their fingers. This character looks like maybe a collector or Pokemaniac. He has weird green trees in his hair, which reminds me of Gigantamax Snorlax for some odd reason. Then we see that the school has these 2 gates at the entrance, which makes me think that they're trying to keep something in or out, which could potentially relate to the giant Pokeball structure that we see on the school building. This is obviously the ice type gym, and I'm pretty sure these letters here actually spell out gym. The sailboat symbol here is the gym symbol. It seems like we're going to be doing some sort of gym challenge inside of these tall buildings, and then we're going to actually battle the gym leader in a separate arena that seems to be outside. We also see these racing flags, which we saw in a previous trailer, but it seems like this is probably related to the evil team storyline. Because we see these flags on the lower elevation and on the higher elevation, it makes me wonder exactly what this sort of racing challenge entails. It kind of reminds me of the balloon popping contest thing that we had in Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I personally wasn't the biggest fan of, so I have a feeling this might be my least favorite storyline. There's also something glowing on the gate to this structure. I don't know what that is, but it's definitely interesting. We don't have enough information on these old towers yet. I'm guessing it relates to the Tera phenomenon, since we just saw gyms and then the evil team quest, and then the Tera phenomenon thing is the 3rd quest that we're going to be doing. But we just don't have a ton of information about these towers specifically. Like, we learned a couple things about the Tera quest, but not about this. Alright, so this structure looks really interesting. Not sure if this is going to be one of the evil team racing type of areas, or if this is something else entirely. We do see a truck on the side, which makes me think racing, but it's entirely possible that's not what this is. There's also some sort of building off to the right-hand side. I don't know. I'm assuming we're going to be able to go inside that. Maybe it's some sort of hideaway or something like that. but we won't know until we play the game. So yeah, we see some of the characters we've seen before in these next couple of shots. Their animations are absolutely beautiful. This is the rival character Penny. I have a lot of thoughts about her since she's probably somehow tied into the evil team storyline. The website says that she's kind of shy, that she doesn't go to school a lot, and I'm wondering if she experienced some sort of bullying by the evil team or if something happened with that, and that's why she's kind of going on that quest to figure that out, and maybe that stress is what's causing her to not go to school as often. Maybe she has like anxiety or something like that. I think that this could potentially be a really important storyline if they do go in that direction, because a lot of kids have anxiety and struggle to go to school because of it. So watching her overcome that could be really helpful. Penny also has an Eevee backpack, but I don't think that this means that there's going to be a new evolution. I'm guessing that she is going to pick the starter that's weaker to yours, and then her Eevee is going to evolve into a starter that's strong against yours. Arven is an interesting character because the trailer here makes it seem like he's angry, but he also looks kind of like Sada and Turo combined, so maybe he's their child. And also the website says that he's kind of like the Steve Harrington of the group. He's a character that is looking after the younger people since he's a little bit older than the other students. So Grusha wins for most beautiful eyes. We see that Grusha is the Ice-type gym leader and has the Pokemon's Titan. We also see that there is somewhat of a crowd when we are having our battle. I personally really like Grusha's design, and I like that he uses he, him pronouns because someone can identify as a man and look feminine. Like, that's okay. We see this evil team race car. A couple interesting details about it. The engine seems like it might actually be a Poison Steel type Pokemon. We also see the evil team star, so again, we know it's the evil team. The wheels have a hubcap that looks like a Pokeball, which is super interesting, and there's nobody driving it. I wonder if they just didn't want to reveal which people are going to drive this vehicle, or if there are actually no people that drive it at all. Nemona definitely has like a heroic stance here, whereas Arven looks a little bit more sinister. Like, he's not even looking at the camera, you can't see his eyes, and eyes are usually how you kind of tell if a person is lying. I'm just saying they're giving us a really weird impression of Arven so far, where the written evidence makes it seem like he's going to be a good guy, but the visual evidence is a little bit more mixed. There's footage of the starters again, but it's mostly the same. Also, I really like this trainer's look, and the fact that she has a Sprigatito is so cute. Honestly, all of the trainers that they show in these clips look really cool. I like how these scenes subtly show how we're going to be able to ride the legendary Pokemon together. It's going to be so fun exploring the region in this way. I'm wondering if this clip shows a different emotion that we're going to be able to use as a trainer when we're interacting with others. And of course, we get confirmation of the new Rotom phone. The new Rotom phone has 2 cameras, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Here we see the main character in Arven going into a cave, and then immediately it cuts to this scene where we're able to see this plant growing out of the ground, and they're kind of investigating it. I would assume that this relates to the Tera phenomenon, since Arven is going to kind of be our rival for that, but we don't have a ton of information about that one yet, as I've said earlier, so Cool detail is that Arven's backpack is huge and seems to contain different devices related to cooking. So this could potentially not be entirely Tera related and could just be a cooking thing. We're able to climb to the top of these towers as is confirmed in this part. It seems like they're putting in some really tall structures in this Pokemon game, which is very fun because we're going to be able to see a lot of the region from those areas. In this clip, the trainer has 6 Pokemon all around them, and they're all interacting in different ways, which makes me hopeful for something like Pokemon Camp or something like how in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we could put all of our Pokemon out at once and have them all doing different things. So hopefully we get something like that. There are rumors about something called Pokemon Picnic being a thing in these games, but we don't have a lot of information yet. Also, this confirms Sylveon, though we assumed that already, Skarmory, which we see in another clip as well, Altaria, which we've seen Swablu before, Hatterene, and Electros, who has not been in the game for a while because no weaknesses is pretty weird to deal with. Also, Lechonk is totally being a derp in this scene, which I love. Here we see the trainer trying to catch Fido, so of course in my map analysis video, I'm going to identify exactly where you can find this Pokemon in the wild. This is cool because we see Noibat evolve into Noivern in the overworld, and then it seems like there's actually a cutscene when they evolve. Very cool. This clip shows the trainer trading an Ice Cube for a Stone Journer. These were exclusive Pokemon in Sword and Shield, and it seems like they will also be exclusive Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. We see Scizor using what looks like X-Scissor on a Golduck, Hydreigon using possibly Dragon Pulse on a Hariyama. I like that Clavel's glasses actually have a gleam to them when the light passes. Here we see the trainer raise their Tera Orb to the sky, gathering that energy and throwing it at the Pokemon, where it becomes the crown. This crown allows Pokemon to access new Tera types and also has a frowny face on the center of it. I proposed a whole theory about that in this video, which you can check out after you finish watching this one. These crowns make the Pokemon look very cool and also seem to temporarily change Pokemon's type to a different one. Trainers can also go inside these crystals to catch Pokemon. I'm guessing that these are kind of like quantum time crystals, aka it contains space that's sort of kind of frozen in time while still allowing objects and people to interact within it. It looks like the Pokeball is changed in the space in order to catch these rare Tera-type Pokemon. In the next scene, we see Koraidon and Miraidon change into what looks like their battle forms. This happens on the beach, so it's possible that the scene we saw earlier of Koraidon and Miraidon was not our character initially encountering them, but the moment when those Pokemon decide to change into their battle forms, for some reason, not exactly sure how we're going to be triggering this in the storyline. We do know that this triggering to the battle forms is going to be near some sort of cave. And we know Arven and you go inside of a cave in an earlier clip. Seems like them changing to their battle forms is somehow related to the Tera storyline. And finally, we see the shot that probably more clearly shows us who will be the Elite Four. The guy on the left looks like he might be a fire type Elite Four based on the red tie. The second one in maybe is Ghost, though it's harder to tell since it seems like there's going to be a Ghost type gym leader, and she might be related to them. On the other side, we have a character that looks like they're maybe a Fairy type Elite Four member because they're wearing blue and pink, which tend to be fairy colors, and it looks like the symbol on their belt is a bow. Could be normal type instead, though. Not at all sure about this one. And then lastly, we have this Elite Four member who I said earlier is almost definitely a fighting type. On to the second part of the trailer. I will be skipping scenes that are just duplicates of previous scenes from the other trailer. So yeah, this clip shows us some benches and an interesting pattern that's right at the front gate. It seems like we might be getting a lot of compass and navigational imagery. This kind of looks like a navigational type of thing with lines showing the 4 cardinal directions, and then we have this little cross-like shapes showing the other directions as well. This is a very easily missed detail, but on the front of the school, we see this weird M-like symbol. This symbol was also on the security guard's hat in the first trailer. To me, this looks like a racing area. We see a gate up front, and we see what looks like a lot of different racing tracks. So again, probably like the balloon popping rally thing in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Luxray line confirmed! These icy cliffs make me wonder if we're going to be able to scale these mountains or if flying will be required, kind of like in Pokemon Legends Arceus. There's also what looks like a cave on the left, so curious about what's in there. It's not uncommon in Pokemon for there to be Pokemon centers right outside of caves, so I think it's very likely that we'll be able to enter and exit the cave right there. Here we see the shopping area from before. We can see the candy shop in the background, but there's also this trainer over here with a Raichu, and there's a trainer over here who has a Luxio. I love the cool detail that the people around here are carrying shopping bags like they're actually going shopping. We get a better view of what I've been calling Route 1. There is another person out here, and I'm wondering who exactly they are. We see an image of a half sun on the top of the door to the main city. I don't know if this will have any particular significance, but considering suns and moons have been important in Pokemon in the past, I wouldn't be surprised if this has some sort of meaning. I absolutely love the animations that they've given to Koraidon and Miraidon. I was a huge Miraidon fan and was sure that I was going to play Violet first, but after seeing all these animations, oh my gosh, Koraidon is so cute. And now I'm really unsure which one I want to pick. There's a cave in the background of this shot that kind of worries me because it does look like the front of the cave is very flat, suggesting that we might not be able to freely go into and out of caves. It might be one of those situations where there's a transition when we enter in that area. Here we see the legendary Pokemon swimming animations. Again, the reflections are so cool. We also again see their flying animations, and we're shown being able to jump with them somehow to initiate this flight, and to jump over wild Pokemon rather than have encounters with them. In this bedroom scene, we can finally see the entire world map. I'm guessing that the text on there actually says world rather than the region name because there aren't enough letters for it to spell Paldea. I'm definitely going to be looking at this map more closely when I do my analysis video. You'll also notice that the TV is on in the background and it is showing footage of the school. There's a trainer here walking around with a Psyduck and another over here walking around with Rockruff. We also see a closer shot of the symbol that is on the school door. Again, we saw this in the first trailer on the security guard's hat. Note as well the circle on the windows here because that will help us place another clip. The names of the two academies are Naranja and Uva. Naranja means oranges and Uva means grapes in Spanish. I'm very excited that we have Poltergeist and Sinistea. Those are some of my personal faves. But we also see Makuhita over here, which makes sense because we've seen Hariyama. And we also see Squobet in the corner over here wanting to eat some of the food on the table. The teacher here is named Jock. He teaches Pokemon biology and he is our homeroom teacher. So these other students are most likely in our homeroom. In fact, this might be one of the clips that we see when we take a class with Jock. We find out that the independent study project is the treasure hunt, which is likely the story related to Arven. We get this beautiful view here that makes me think that we might actually be able to land on top of the roofs once we're able to fly. I will definitely be checking the rooftops because I would not be surprised if there's hidden items up there. I don't know if these lighthouses will have any other significance other than them being in the 4 cardinal directions, but we know because this one is red that it's the one that's near our starting area. As I said earlier, the windows in the school have this circular pattern, so we know that this clip of Nemona actually takes place inside of the school. This town was actually shown in the second trailer in the clip where Pikachu was running by, so it's not the first time we've seen it. But this angle of it is new though. It seems like that's another town that has a gym. The icy town is named Glacedo? Something like that. Oh, it's probably like Glacedo, right? So Glacedo? Maybe? This shot shows Hippowdon buried in the sand. How cool is that? I'm wondering if it's going to be chasing after us like it did in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Here we see some of the professors / probably Elite Four members. We know that this one is still probably fighting type. This one might be either rock or ghost. I'm thinking that her daughter might be ghost or something like that, and that she might actually be a rock type Elite Four member. Jacques is probably not an Elite Four member, but either he specializes in the electric type or he just has a Pikachu. And again, I still think she's a fairy type and she has a fairy type Pokemon. This is the clearest view we get of this mysterious symbol so far. Again, it was on the security guard's hat in the first trailer, but we haven't ever seen it like this. Originally, I thought that the symbol was more like an M, but it seems like it's an X with a crystal below it and some sort of tree reaching up. I think that this almost definitely relates to the Tera phenomenon, possibly even relates to Xerneas because of the X shape, which could add credence to my Kalos theory. And obviously the crystal has to do with the Tera phenomenon, so it all just seems to be fitting really well together. There's a Magnemite in this scene too, which I'm guessing is Jacques. This clip seems to show Jacques introducing us to our homeroom class. This scene emphasizes Nemona's glove, which is very interesting because we know she has difficulty throwing Pokeballs, and I'm wondering if the glove that she wears could relate to that in some way. Again, Arven is very confusing because we see clips of him looking relatively okay, and then clips of him looking really mad for some reason. Here we see that our classmates will be out and about in the world, and that we will be able to challenge them. Potentially that could be for different quests. This clip with the Rotom is so cool. I wonder again if we're going to be able to interact with Pokemon that are in the air, and if we're going to be able to catch Pokemon even when we're in urban areas. Okay, Wooper is so cute though. How could anybody not absolutely adore this little dude? Fido is also adorable, and I love the way it's like traveling in a little pack here, like so cute. I'm wondering if Pokemon in the wild will have interactions like this where we see Cubchoo running away from a Titan. Previous clips in the trailer suggested that we do, so it seems pretty likely at this point. Unless those are just cutscenes. Mudbray confirmed. We get our first glimpse of the Rotom Pokedex. In this case, it is registering the Pokemon Lechonk. Interestingly, we see that Sprigatito and Quaxly have already been registered, but not Fuecoco. We can also tell that the trainer only saw Quaxly, but didn't catch it. This trainer chose Sprigatito, as is known by the yellow lines at the top and the bottom. This means that very early on, we're probably going to battle against the starter Pokemon that's weak to ours. Do we have an early battle with Penny? Seems weird. We know we have an early battle with Nemona, but she seems to have a different team at that time. We see the page for Lechonk includes its Pokédex number 10, which means it's supposed to kind of be the rodent of the region. We see that is the hog Pokemon, which we already knew, but we also see this barcode in the bottom right. I'm wondering what exactly that means, as well as the text in the top left. If each of the Pokédex entries has different text, this might be a very good way to decode the Pokemon language. As I said earlier, our new Rotom phone has 2 cameras, and we're able to take pictures. We're able to go into different poses as trainers and take fun pictures with our friends. I'm assuming we're also able to take these fun pictures with our Pokemon, but that is yet to be seen. This clip strongly suggests that we are going to call other trainers into our game rather than just syncing up our data files. It looks like there's going to be one host game that other people go into. This means that it's more likely that we're going to see the spawns of that host game rather than the unique individual spawns that we might have in our own versions. Significantly, the green linking area is closest to this yellow circle, followed by the Pokemon Center with our new Nurse Joy and the Pokemart. I don't know what this store is in the background. It looks like they sell some sort of tins. Possibly it has to do with the camera since it's showing it in multiplayer. Maybe it's some sort of like film lens or something like that. I don't know. This part strongly suggests that we're going to be able to partner up with another trainer for 2v2 battles against each other, especially with the Pokeball symbol on the bottom probably being an area where we're able to battle. However, we don't actually see these Pokemon battling, so they might just be showing off their Pokemon in sort of a pretending to be battling way. It's very unconfirmed. I do think it's pretty likely though, and I think that these might be victory poses. Here we see a level 9 Sprigatito. We see its HP, which is very interesting because we can kind of start to piece together its stats. We also see that it is male, which will be important in a second. We see here the terrestrialized feature is right there, and that it's going to be a grass type, and that this is located on the R trigger button. We see that Sprigatito knows Scratch, Tail Whip, Leaf Edge, and Bite. We already predicted that Sprigatito would become a dark type, but this makes it a lot more likely. This clip confirms that our Tera Orb can be used in any type of battle, including battles against wild Pokemon. The animation when our Pokemon hits with a Tera boosted attack is different from regular. It looks so cool with all sorts of sparkles emanating from it. This Pikachu has the move Fly, and if you're confused about that, it's because it's going to be a gift Pokemon, a Pikachu with both Fly and the Tera type Flying. It's a reference to the Pokemon card Flying Pikachu. To find Pokemon with rare Tera types, we're going to approach these giant crystals in the overworld. They look very similar to Gigantamax raid dens, but these ones are for Tera raid battles. We're able to get into these battles with friends, but it's extremely likely that we can also get into these battles on our own as a single player, because not everybody has access to the online features of these games, so they have to make it accessible for everyone. In the crystals, we see the Pokemon that we're battling reflected multiple times. Plus, the Pokemon in these crystals are more likely to have rare Tera types, like this Gardevoir that has the Water Tera type. A trainer is shown cheering on their friends to boost everybody's power. This was a mechanic in Sword and Shield, but it was kind of annoying, so I'm hoping that they've made this a little bit better. Additionally, it looks like all 4 players' Pokemon can use their Tera power when in these raids. That's very good because it was always so annoying when somebody else would Dynamax and you wanted to Dynamax and you were just stuck there like, well, guess I can't do that now. All 4 Pokemon are seen attacking simultaneously, so gone are the days when we had to sit around and wait during raids. When the Pokemon in the Tera raid den is defeated, it will lose its Tera power for the time being, and we will be able to catch it. The Pokeball takes on a crystal-like form when we catch these Pokemon. Remember when I talked about the girl and the fletchling? We can actually see her in this shot, which is way zoomed out, but it's definitely her. Here we see Smoliv probably using Absorb. It seems like there might potentially be different Pokeball throwing techniques. Hopefully we're able to choose a technique for our own trainer as well. And the entire trailer ends by mentioning the early purchase bonus of the special Pikachu, which knows Fly and Tera type is Flying. Phew! That was a lot of information, but I hope that this video was useful for you and that you learned something new. We still have a whole bunch of questions about this trailer, and there are a lot of different things that I'm definitely going to be diving into. Specifically, I want to look at the map, I want to look at the language, I want to look at the characters and the Pokemon, and just there is a lot for me to still think about. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see those deeper dives, make sure you drop a like on this one, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications and all those kind of things. And if you want behind the scenes / a little bit more between videos, make sure that you follow me on Twitter. Hope you have a great day or night or whatever time it is where you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!